Behind the scenes in Formula One, there is an uncomfortable truth that few teams like to admit. No matter how sophisticated the calculations, how many hours are spent in wind tunnels and simulators, there are phenomena that only reveal themselves when the car hits the track. Ferrari in 2025 is living precisely this dilemma. After believing they had found the path to challenge McLaren and Red Bull on equal footing, the Italian team stumbled upon a ghost thought to have been exorcised years ago: porpoising. This aerodynamic phenomenon, which causes the car to violently bounce on straights and high-speed corners, has become a thorn in Ferrari's side, transforming a package of upgrades that promised victories into a burden, slowing the team's momentum. The issue began almost silently. At the Spanish Grand Prix, Ferrari introduced a new floor, promising more downforce without sacrificing straight-line speed. On paper, the design looked efficient, and wind tunnel data supported the simulations. But the first laps in Barcelona revealed something was wrong. The front of the car vibrated excessively, the floor scraped the asphalt unevenly, and in the fastest corners, the car pulsated uncontrollably. What seemed like a minor detail soon revealed itself as a structural problem. The SF24 was suffering from severe porpoising at high speed. Carlos Sainz was the first to publicly acknowledge the severity. In certain corners, he explained, the sensation was that the car was floating without grip, forcing him to lift earlier than desired. Charles Leclerc was even more candid. Although the updates provided some performance gains, all of this progress was being masked by the bouncing effect. In other words, Ferrari had advanced in raw performance but could not translate it into consistent results because the car was unpredictable at the limit. For drivers who rely on absolute confidence, every loss of stability is a blow to their ability to extract maximum performance. From that point, a race against time began. The first reaction was almost desperate. The team decided to revert to the old floor used in Imola, which provided more stable behavior, even though it sacrificed some potential performance. It was a temporary fix, bringing momentary relief. The car became more predictable, though still not fast enough to challenge McLaren and Red Bull consistently. Simultaneously, engineers in Maranello were working on an emergency revision of the floor, reinforcing the front diffuser area, which was flexing beyond expectations and generating aerodynamic oscillations. This situation highlighted a more delicate issue: the discrepancy between wind tunnel measurements and the real behavior of the car on track. Jacques Clear, a veteran Ferrari engineer, admitted that there was a correlation error between simulation and reality. This type of problem is particularly cruel because it undermines the team's confidence in its development process. If the wind tunnel shows stability and the track shows the opposite, the entire technical plan may be built on an unstable foundation. It is not merely a car defect, it is a methodological flaw. Despite this, Ferrari managed some moments of respite. At the Dutch Grand Prix, the car showed competitive pace, and at Monza, Leclerc claimed a symbolic victory in front of the home crowd. It seemed that the problem was, if not resolved, at least under control. Yet team principal Frédéric Vasseur was quick to temper expectations. Monza is an atypical track, with unique characteristics that mask aerodynamic deficiencies. Evaluating SF24's true progress based on such a circuit would be a strategic error. Ferrari did not want to repeat mistakes from previous years when occasional victories created illusions about a car that, at its core, was not competitive. The central challenge is that porpoising is deceptive. It does not follow a logical pattern. It may appear in one session and disappear in the next, varying with wind, temperature, or tire wear. It is an invisible and unpredictable enemy. This makes car setup a real puzzle. To avoid porpoising, engineers must raise the ride height, sacrificing downforce and speed. But in doing so, Ferrari loses the very advantage that their upgrades promised. It is a vicious cycle. The most advanced aerodynamic package of the season is limited by a problem that should have been eliminated long ago. This technical fragility has direct consequences for the championship campaign. Unlike Red Bull, which runs a naturally higher car immune to porpoising, or McLaren, which has achieved an exemplary aerodynamic balance, Ferrari must contend with performance swings. On low-speed tracks, the car is competitive. On high-speed tracks, it becomes unpredictable. This inconsistency not only costs precious points but also undermines driver confidence and the team's long-term strategic planning. It is impossible to plan a race or a championship when the car may start bouncing in the next corner. The effects are already visible in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari, which began the season fighting for second place, has fallen to fourth, behind McLaren and Mercedes. The issue is not simply lack of raw speed but consistency. While rivals can extract maximum performance in almost any condition, Ferrari oscillates, experiencing thrilling home victories followed by subdued weekends elsewhere. This inconsistency is a direct reflection of the floor setup and the haunting porpoising problem. Within Ferrari, there is a clear awareness that this is a medium-term problem. The focus now is not only on adjusting the car to salvage points in 2025, but also on ensuring that the correlation methodology between wind tunnel and track is corrected for the future. With the major 2026 regulation changes approaching, any flaw in this process could cost years of development. What began as a frustration in Barcelona has become a red alert for the entire technical structure of the team. Ferrari's drama, therefore, extends beyond a bouncing car. It reveals how unforgiving Formula One is for teams operating on narrow performance margins. A small aerodynamic detail, a minor correlation failure, can be the difference between contesting victories and struggling to keep pace with rivals. For Ferrari, the mission is dual: extinguish the immediate fire of 2025 and build a solid foundation to avoid repeating this nightmare in the coming years. Meanwhile, fans continue to experience the emotional roller coaster that has become the hallmark of the team in this modern era of Formula One.